Hail Kingdom, I saw you asked for cheap ways to craft your gear. Well, let's do it. And don't forget, you crafting gear to have fun. So just for fun, let's take this Headhunter heavy belt that goes for around 60 divine orbs and a drop Val orb on top. But before, let me quickly explain how crafting works. That's completely basics of crafting. Any item starts with a white base. It can have implicit and implicit based on your base, so MT string will always have chaos resistance implicit. Then this item can be upgraded into blue item with bunch of different mods, but it can have only prefix and suffix, mods separated into categories. Then it can be upgraded into yellow item, which is rare, and it will have 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes most of the time. These prefixes and suffixes will have tiers. Tier 1 is the best one, and technically when you're crafting, you're just starting with a white base and then dropping Orb of Transmutation to get first modifier, then Orb of Augmentation to get second modifier, then you can use Regal Orb to upgrade it to rare with 3 total modifiers, and then you slam Exalted Orbs on top. It will give you 6 modifiers. As a final touch, you can actually try and use Chaos Orb and reroll 1 random modifier. But of course it's complete Unga Bunga style, and you will brick most of your items and drop them into trash. So to get modifications that you actually want, there's different ways, and that's what I actually will show you today, how to cheaply get your items good. One of the basics will be Essence, and Essence will add 1 modifier, which is completely determined by this wording on Essence, and will make your item rare. Therefore, Essence will be used after your Orb of Augmentation, or after Orb of Transmutation in some situations. Then there is Greater Essences, but there is a problem with this Greater Essence, of course, it will remove 1 of the modifiers. So what if it will remove 1 of the good ones? Well, you can get these omens by playing rituals, or of course you can buy them. And omens will change suffix or prefix behavior of your currency. So if you got 3 good prefixes but bad suffix, you can use omen that will force your essence to eat suffix, therefore you will get 4 very good mods. And when it's time to slam Exalted Orbs, well, it's Omen of Homogenizing Exaltation. It will force Exalted Orb to add modifiers of the same type. I will explain it later. That's our main stuff that we will use. However, there is extra stuff. As you can see, I got 1 prefix which is locked over here. It's yellow, this means it's locked. And you can lock it with Fracturing Orbs that is dropped on cleansed maps randomly. And also there's this green stuff, and green stuff is a new type of upgrades, it's desecrations. Basically you can desecrate your weapon or any other type of equipment, and also you can use omens to determine where your item will be desecrated, and also you may use different omens to force special upgrades. So most important stuff before you actually ever start crafting is to understand that crafting is used in situation when you can't buy your gear normally. Yes, you can craft for fun, but most of the time there's already loads of crafted stuff on the market and you can just buy it, and buy it pretty cheaply. What if there's nothing on market that you like, or you need special resistances on your armors? That's when you start crafting. In this video we will craft all the slots for our gear, basically our defenses. There's a separate video, I will leave it in pinned comment and at the end of this video, where we will craft weapons separately, because there's a bunch of ways how we can craft weapons. And right before we start crafting, let's actually craft our awesome Headhunter. Pow! Sadly, it just became a little bit worse. But hey, I got another one. Pow! Oh, this one is a lot better now, with better rolls. Still not perfect. Okay, let's start crafting. And when we craft, of course we need some bases. How to get them? Well, actually I set up my loot filter and I just hunt them basically when I'm running around. I'm getting them, so I got a bunch of them and we will craft on them right now. And our goal right now is to actually create good armors like this, for example, right from the get-go, without doing any weird stuff. Any weird stuff is something like Omen of Light. Omen of Light can remove desecration, and you may ask why it's good. Well, to actually craft stuff, we will need PoE2 website, and we need to go into modifiers section, into modifiers, and we will check stuff that we will craft over here. So for example, amulets. Prefixes and suffixes separated, and they will have tags. This is Omen of Homogenizing Exaltation. We'll use tags exactly. So for example, on amulet you can use desecrated modifier with Amanamum modifier, and you can force minion deal damage If you hit recently, but you don't need it, well, it doesn't matter if you got damage and minion tag. Then you can use homogenizing omen, and you can actually roll damage and minion modifiers basic. If you already got level 2 all skills on your amulet, minion tag is blocked because it's only place where it appears. So it can't actually roll minion in reality, even if you have like melee skills. So your amulet can't have melee skills and minion skills at the same time. It can have only melee skills or other skills, for example. And if it's blocked, well, there's only one damage modificator over here. We can easily check it by selecting damage on top, just like that. And therefore, homogenizing omen will add critical damage bonus. Well, guess what? We just added critical tag. This means we can do it once again and add critical hit chance. Well, guess what? Now we need to remove this trash desecrated modifier, and we will use Omen of Light. Yeah, that's how you craft amulets like this. So this amulet was crafted in exactly the same fashion. So I removed this desecrated modifier, changed it to another desecrated modifier, and got this pretty like overpowered and cool amulet. However, there's like one problem. Since everyone already knows this tech, everyone knows how to use this, Omen of Light became really popular, and it costs like 2-3 divines right now. That's pretty crazy. And that's not something you want to use on your cheap crafts, because again it will cost you like 3 perfect exalted orbs, bunch of omens, craft this stuff, and that's again kinda leads us to another question. What we will craft on? Well, when you're doing cheap crafts, you're not looking for tier 1 affixes on everything. For example, I got this quarter staff, and this quarter staff got tier 1 lightning damage and tier 1 critical hit chance. Guess what? This blue quarter staff, where you can craft on, already can cost around 30 divines. So just this base, without anything. And items like this are super valuable, so it's easy just to sell it and buy cheaper versions. And same goes for everything. So let's start with helmets. How I'm getting like this bases, which is blue base, item level 82, and it got tier 1 resistance and tier 1 increased energy shield that can already be sold for like few divines pretty easily. Well, I'm just collecting item level 80, 81 is okay, blue bases, white helmets, that's it. And then I'm using this currency, basic orbs of transmutation and orbs of augmentation. I will show it right now on the armor. Let's actually pick armors right now. We will craft both of them at the same time. So the cool part about these orbs, they will always give you minimum modifier level of 70. And what does it mean? Well, to understand, you need to go exactly to PoE2 DB modifiers, and every modifier will have item level. It's this gray line over here, and that's maximum. So for example, if you want to have tier 1 increased energy shield on your helmet, guess what level you need? You need level 65, item level 65. It's not the same as required level, so don't mess them up. Required level is different, item level can be higher, can be lower, but I'm looking for high item level because at item level 82 we can roll perfect resistances. At item level 81 we can roll perfect chaos resistance. Perfect I mean tier 1, so 41 to 45% can be rolled only on item level 82. And these orbs will basically give you bonuses of item level 70. So if you're dropping Orb of Transmutation, which is basic orb, it will roll between... So if you drop in Orb of Transmutation, which is basic roll, it will roll between all suffixes and prefixes, then it will pick one of them, then it will go inside, and then it will pick one of this. So chance to hit something that you need is low, but something is you need and also pretty high is in super low. But for armors, most of these upgrades actually will have tier 1 as item level 65. This got, for example, increased energy shield item level 78, and previous one is item level 60. So that's like, again, kind of gives you ability to use transmutation augmentation orbs and hit tier 1 always. So let's use them on this strike vest, and we will see what we roll on. So we rolled maximum life and fire resistance. This item will go into trash. Probably you don't want maximum life on this type of item, you want extra like evasion rating and loads of extra evasion rating. So this literally goes into trash. I destroy this item, sell it to trader, not to people. So like no one cares about this. And what I'm looking for when I'm making armors, it's kinda true for helmets and for body armors, is maximum energy shield or increased energy shield, and at the same time I'm looking for resistances. That's how it works. I'm using this paint method and it's super easy to understand. So we got top part, which is prefixes, and bottom part, which is suffixes. We got an item. On this item right now we got increased energy shield and we got bonus to lightning resistance. First of all, we're checking tags. Basically we got defense tag over here and we got elemental lightning resistance tags. And first place where we need to go into essences. I can check it in game or just roll over here. So what we got over here? We can add essences to prefix, which will be, for example, we're not looking for mana and life. And here we will have different essences that will increase our armor, evasion or energy shield. For this item it will always be energy shield, so don't worry. But it will increase it by 68 to 79%. Well, with this item exactly, there's two problems with exactly this essence. We already got increased energy shield. This means we can't do anything actually. So we can't use this essence because we can't have same mod. So it's not a problem. But if you have, for example, 2 maximum energy shield, yes, you can use it and it will be super cheap and straightforward craft. But on my helmet I want more resistance. Therefore we will add second resistance, which will be a little bit worse. And we will add this resistance in the form of essence. So we got lightning, let's add cold, for example. Let's add cold, why not? After adding cold to our equation, we will have again elemental resistance tags, but there's no tags on top besides defense, and there's no defense or elemental or other like tags over here. So what I will do, I will basically use homogenizing exaltation omen that will force my exalted orb to add modifiers of the same type. I will also add omen of greater exaltation that will make my exalted orb to add 2 modifiers instead of 1 because it's cheaper. And for this craft, of course, we will use perfect exalted orb. So this perfect exalted orb is actually 500 exalts right now. It's not cheap, but let me explain. This will cost us basically like how much is divine right now? Divine right now is 300 almost, so it will cost 2.5 divines. With homogenizing, it will go for like 3 divines. So over here it's 3 divine orbs. This costs nothing. This I rolled myself, so it's just pretty easy, straightforward roll. It took me about like 10, maybe 20 helmets to get this exact one, but this is not like really a bad one also. But basically what will happen is we will force defense tag, so only this can roll. And we always want to have 2 maximum energy shield. And chances to not get this is pretty low, because we will always get one of this, basically maximum life on mana and increased energy shield. But we're hoping basically for 2 maximum energy shield, and we're hoping for 2 maximum energy shield and maybe 2 life. It will be good. The only thing that will be left is to fix 1 slot over here, and it will be done with desecration. There's different types of desecrations. Again, for example, there's basic bones, preserved rib. They basically cost nothing, less than exalted orb. But also there is cool bones. This cool bones will upgrade your weapon and will make sure it's like very good modifier. This is good if you're looking for something not cheap again, but we're not looking for dropping like 2 divines into helmets like this. We're looking just for a good modifier. You probably will need Omen of Abyssal Echoes, and it will give you ability to reroll your attempts. And this goes for 50 exalted orbs. Again, if you're really looking for example, cold resistance, and your helmet is so good, like as good as this one, well, that's what you want to do. But we will make this helmet insanely cheap. So total craft cost with perfect exalted orb goes 3 divines over here. We will check how much it will cost after. But let's not forget, we need to drop exalted orb into correct place, because if you forget to get omen of where we want it to be, we want it in prefix, so this one is for prefix. Basically, if we forget it, well, then we get 1 defensive modifier on bottom, and it actually can roll this increased energy shield recharge rate. It's not a bad one if you need it, but most of the time you don't need, so it's like a bad one. And that's again another reason why you're looking for helmets with exactly increased energy shield or 2 maximum energy shield, because you will get only defense stack. If you get helmets with mixed, for example, maximum life, maximum mana, you already will add life and mana tags. This will give you ability to actually roll to maximum life, and that's bad. That's not what we want. Now, let's take all our plants over here and drop them into this helmet. So we're dropping cold resistance on top of this helmet. Pow! We got it, and the resistances always goes on bottom. You can check it again on the PoE2 DB, basically over here, so you'll see where it goes. Now we got this resistance, very good. What's next? Next we're doing this part part that will cost a little bit. So we're doing the same type modifier with 2 modifiers at once and also on top in prefixes. We're using Perfect Exalted Orb and getting insanely good PoW energy shield, and we rolled to maximum energy shield and also we rolled to maximum mana. Honestly, I never failed on this roll, so probably it goes like this. It always rolls one defense that is only defense and then it rolls mana or health. I don't know, and we got T1 over here. And now we basically will desecrate this helmet, but be careful, again, when you're desecrating. If you got open prefixes or suffixes, basically if you got slots, so if it's less than 3, it goes into random place. If you got full prefixes and suffixes, it will remove random modifier, so make sure you don't have like full modifiers or you will break your item maybe. But here we don't have random modifiers, so it will always go into free slot, and free slot is on bottom. This omens works only on weapons or jewelry, so you can't force this on your armors. Therefore, again, on armors we're doing pretty much random stuff. Okay, let's hope we will get something good. We will desecrate this rare armor and let's go and reveal it. Now, little trick. If you think your armor is actually good and you can easily understand if it's good or not, well, just by checking these mods. So if there's loads of T1, T2, that's basically a good item, and yeah, this one is pretty good. First of all, we need to check price. Again, this item is super easy to craft, so probably market is completely like busted with these items. But by quickly checking this stuff, I easily see that we got a lot worse tiaras that goes for 10 divines right now. And guess what? They recently posted. So they recently posted, that's pretty crazy. Now, here's the trick. We just invested like 3 divine orbs. Can we invest less? Yes. You still will need to use homogenizing omen for like 70 exalted orbs. But let's not forget, there is tier 2 greater exalted orbs. The difference between tier 2 and tier 3 is minimum modifier level. So for them it goes 35 and 50. And tier 2 actually costs nothing, like 3 exalted orbs. If you roll 35, well, this craft can be done in less than divine, less than half of divine, basically full craft can be done. But you will have chance to roll pulsing modifier, basically tier 3. For this exact helmet, I don't want to roll this low, so we go into Well of Souls and I'm activating Omen of Abyssal Echoes. Again, it's not needed, but it's 50 exalts to have protection of awful roll. We will check this stuff right now, and we see Cold and Chaos Resistance, exactly what I wanted to have in this helmet. Therefore we take it, but Omen is consumed, so we can't reroll. I mean, we can reroll, but I'm not going to do it. We take what we want, and we basically got insanely cool helmet. The only thing is left is of course to wall it, but yeah, we just drop a bunch of upgrades on top. We will drop a socket, and honestly it's just a better helmet than I got on me right now. My energy shield is 5.5k right now. If I get this helmet, it will be 5.8k, which is just crazy. 300 extra energy shield. This helmet is just very good. We crafted it a lot cheaper than these helmets on the market right now. Now, just for fun, or to show you how good it works actually, we will craft like 2 more of them. So this is like a lot worse base. I would not even craft on it, but maybe you're okay with little resistance and you actually want high energy shield. Again, I would not invest too much in this helmet, but here's the cool part. Stuff like that, basically helmets with tier 1 modifier, but with good lightning resistance roll or other like resistance roll, can go for 1 divine on the market right now. They actually like 10 days on the market, so no one bangs them, of course, because it's so easy to make them yourself with just perfect orbs of transmutation. But maybe you just want this like extra rarity on your items, and rarity will also work because rarity does not have any tax, so it's not blocking like any stuff. And we will just make like 2 same crafts to show you how it works. So we got double resistance right now over here, we got resistance over here. I will activate all of this stuff, and yeah, we're investing homogenizing omen on top. But right now I'm using just greater exalted orb to show you how what you can get. Just look over here, we got lucky and we got all tier 1 like rolls. So this is just to show you that this craft does not need to be extra costly. This one is not lucky, we rolled nice resistance, but again, there's a problem, we rolled mixed resistances. As you can see, it can backfire, so you can actually roll like tier 2, tier 3 with this, but this rolled like godlike. Definitely not investing in the rerolls on this gear, so we're just taking Cold and Chaos Resistance, and over here we're taking, we could take like 20 lightning resistance, but it's better to have lightning and chaos most of the time. To craft this helmet, we spent 1/3 of divine. we can get like 5 divines out of this helmet pretty easily and probably pretty fast. I will drop all today's crafts on top and we will see if anything sells while we're crafting. Now here's the fun part. This approach will work basically to any like gear on armor side, but it won't work on maximum life rolls. So this armor, while it may look like a good tier 1 roll, in reality it costs just like 3 exalted orbs, because this life will block loads of your crafting and it will make your crafting almost impossible to succeed actually. But there is a way how you can try and kinda make something good out of it. There is an omen that will be used on Regal Orb and it costs just 6 exalted orbs right now. And we can use Perfect Regal Orb, which costs around like 15 Exalted Orbs. Or we can use Greater Regal Orb, which costs less than Exalted Orb. So this craft will cost us like few Exalts, and we can see. So this is slight chance that we will roll high increased evasion rating. And this will make this item pretty good. Pow! Now we rolled maximum life, exactly as I told you, so that's what you can roll. And we roll this maximum life, so this item goes to trash. Again, when you're looking for good body slot, it goes exactly the same. But you need to be careful when you're picking bases. For example, this got tier 1 increased evasion rating roll, which is good, yeah? Yeah, but look at our evasion rating. It's 844, while this armor got 935. That's because this armor got better evasion rating inside of this armor. So even though this is like very good one, if you're looking for just insanely high evasion rating, it's not a perfect choice. And it's really easy to check what's going on. So armors like this can be bought for like 20 exalted orbs right now, while this with tier 2 and tier 3 rolls can go for almost 1 divine easily. So again, this is like more in demand armor. That's why if you're crafting, try to think on what you are crafting for. But again, that's basically how to show you recipes. So maybe your build really needs this ailment threshold, but lower evasion rating. Then again, it will be the same recipe. So it will be homogenizer on top. I'm not even like looking what's going on, because I know it will work now. And then desecration, and then we're going to reveal. Let's reveal this one first. And we got lightning and chaos resistance, definitely going for this. This I am not rerolling, and we're getting reduced critical hit chance. So this got only 2 resistances. With just tier 2 exalted orb, it rolled pretty good, nice bonuses to evasion rating, but still, even crafted, it can cost like 20 exalts. That's again why you need to look on the market first. So if you're looking for code like this, you can easily find it, but 200 evasion rating with triple resist on Sleep Strike West, well, it's at least divine orb over here. So again, that's why you check on the market. These crafts are pretty easy and straightforward. Therefore, again, wasting like 3 divines on top is not like a perfect idea. We can just buy it. I'm crafting just to show you how straightforward it is and how easy it is to craft this stuff. Okay, now more interesting stuff. Boots. Well, you may already know a little bit of recipes for boots. Here's the problem. If you're looking for boots, you're looking for boots with movement speed. And again, that's a kinda a problem. Because there's 2 ways how we can inflict, or I would say add movement speed to boots. Well, one of them is to desecrate modifier into suffix, and it should be Ulaman modifier, so you again need to be like lucky, with reduced movement speed penalty, and then you drop perfect exalted on top, which is like 3 divine orbs, like 2 divine orbs, and then you will get perfect movement speed, but then you need to spend 3 divine orbs to actually remove this stuff with Omen of Light. So it's not like a best deal, I would say, in current market, but I did it previously when Omen of Light was insanely cheap. I bought them like for 10 exalts. It was insane. There's another way, and it can be done with Essence of Hysteria that will give you 30% movement speed. So it's not tier 1, but you can guarantee it for pretty much like a little bit over the divine. But again, what you can do is to just slam Perfect Orb of Transmutation and Augmentation on top of boots, because these orbs will guarantee you maximum movement speed on boots with item level 82. This one is item level 80, so they can roll only 30% movement speed, and again it's almost guaranteed because not a lot of stuff to roll. Now we not rolled, so this will go into trash. Basically it's just trash item. It was just to like show you, but I rolled this one already, so they will have movement speed, fire resistance. Therefore again, let's make our puzzle. movement speed and fire resistance added. On top, we don't have defense stack yet, and we definitely don't want to have increased energy shield on bottom, so that's not what we want to have, because it's not increased energy shield, it's recharge rate. Therefore, we need to somehow add a little bit of useful tags for the top part. On top part, we don't want life, we don't want mana, we want maximum energy shield, and that's basically how we will do it. We will add essence. That will give us increased energy shield. So it's guaranteed essence. We will add it. So it's essence. Flat maximum energy shield on top by using homogenizing Omen and Exalt. So it's H plus A. But we need to determine which type of Exalted Orb we want to roll. Basically, we will have increased energy shield, so we can have only 2 maximum energy shield. And guess what? Greater Exalted Orb will roll minimum 35 level. So 33 is out. Basically, we guaranteed to have tier 2 or tier 1. That's why this craft is extremely cheap. But here's 2 ways how you can craft it. Again, first way I just described it. So we start with enhancement to give us energy shield. It's pretty straightforward stuff. We get energy shield. Pow. Now by adding homogenizing exaltation on top, so this will add it in prefix, the craft will cost 80 exalted orbs around, which is 1/4 of divine. Pow. So we added this energy shield. Recipe is basically the same, but we're not using this Omen of greater exaltation. So we're not adding 2 modifiers because we can add only 1 good modifier. Now what we have? Well, we have pretty good boots with all top part filled with energy shields and movement speed, but on bottom part we got 1 resistance. How to add resistances? Well, again, there is 2 ways. One of them is to use desecration modifier again. It will give you 15% fire and 15% chaos, for example. It will give you a chance for it. And we will do it with these boots. But for these boots we will use different recipe on top. So instead of using essence for protection, we will try to force extremely high tier resistance by using homogenizing coronation and perfect regal orb. Pow! We did it. You see? We got tier 2 resistance double. At this point we got problem only with defenses on top. Well, it's solvable, kinda, since with boots we don't have lots of stuff to roll on top. So we already have movement speed, it can be rolled, we already have. And we just need to hope that there is no life and mana basically, but all other 3 rolls is okay for us. So our chances is just pretty good even with greater exalted orb, with sinistral exaltation, so it will roll on top basically. And we can have pretty good protection. Pow! Look, all tier 2 right now. 1 mixed, 1 increased. So it's not perfect because there's no flat increased energy shield, but that's fine. And now there's like last step to these boots. Again, if you're looking to sell these boots, we can add plus 40 to elemental resistances. And we can check like over here on the market what will be the price for the boots with 120 total resistances and kind of the same amount of energy shield. Well, it will go for like 10 divines basic. 10 divines. Now we get like 2 options. We can actually invest perfect exalted orb into this one with homogenizing exaltation, but again there's a little bit of problem. Even if you invest it, you can just roll increased energy shield because it will have defense stack. So this investment of 3 divine orbs, actually even a little bit more, is not like perfect solution for it. Instead we can just slam greater exalt and hope for the best, or we can use preserved rip to guarantee at least something okayish. That's what I will do. Now this item, it got everything we need, but it don't have resistances. That's actually where I will use homogenizing exaltation and perfect exalted orb. Why? Well, we can do it insanely cheap, and you can do it pretty easily with rolling basic exalted orb, like tier 2, but it will roll all of this. So it's like 2 out of 6 chances to roll something good. With perfect exalted orb, it's like top 3 guaranteed. And I just need this boot, so pow, and we got tier 1 chaos resistance and we got reduced shock duration on you, so shock duration is actually bad. Still, this boot's on the market for like 4 divines. I can sell it basically for the same price as I invested in, but let's check what in the boots, and it will be fire and chaos resistance. And that was the recipe for boots. Now let's make some gloves. Well, that's where it becomes tricky, because you may need like different kinds of gloves. Let's quickly slam this one, so we see what we roll, and we rolled maximum mana and life per enemy killed. You know where it goes, but that's a good one. So we get intelligence and we get dexterity gloves over here. What you may want on your gloves? Well, most of the time it's something like this. It's just pure damage gloves. And that's actually another way how you can kind of try and learn craft. So you need to get item. And then you like copy your preferred stats over here just to understand what is your go-to. And now we need to check like what we have. So on this item we got cold damage to attacks on top and cold resistance on bottom. Both of them are elemental types. There is no resistance on top part of the gloves. There is no bad resistance on bottom part and suffixes. And actually again you can do it like over here on website. So it's elemental attack resistance. So there's like all the text that can be rolled with our combination. There's one bad on top, which is accuracy rating. We definitely don't want it. Actually, let me get back paint. And there's leeching damage as life per enemy hit, which is bad on bottom part, which technically makes gloves like this like best candidate for just exalt slamming. We can just exalt slam and hope for something good. But let's not forget we can start with our essences. One of the easiest way is to go exactly as we did before, is to just slam something like fire resistance. Then with extra line of resistance, we just exalt slam on top, and we will have text like cold, attack, damage, elemental. So there's only 1 out of like 5 chances that we roll attack, and even though if we roll attack, there's super low chance to roll accuracy. It's not like extremely low, but it's like an okayish one. Method will be always the same for gloves. Again, we kinda looking for extra resistance on bottom part, which is always nice. And we get kinda 2 of the same gloves with cold damage to attacks and cold resistance. This will with fire. We will add fire over here and cold over here. So making 2 gloves at the same time. Now the question, should we roll perfect exalts? Let's see. Perfect exalt will guarantee you at least item level 50. So it will give you 1 of this. And that's why again, if you're going for attack damage gloves, well, it's not extremely cheap. If you want to have higher chances at higher rolls, but as you can see here, item level 35 will add only 1 like extra to equation. So again, recipe is the same. It's homogenizing, sinistral, and greater exaltation omens. Basically, it's same type of modifier. It's only in prefix and 2 random modifiers. So we will use like 2 mods at the same time. And on the top one, I will add perfect exalted orb. On the bottom one, I will add basic exalted orb. So you will see it yourself that you basically don't need like super perfect rolls, since basic exalted orb will add only 1 to equation, like 1 more modifier. Let's actually start with this one. Pow. So what we have accuracy rating. That's bad. That's bad. We don't want accuracy rating, so we just hit something that we don't need actually. Now let's pray we don't hit accuracy here. Pow, and we hit all good modifiers. But again, it's T2, T4, and that's for 3 divine orbs for a round. So this craft with perfect exalt costs 3 divine orbs. How much these gloves? These gloves can be bought for like 1 divine right now. That's why again, always check the market. But most of them actually are for like 3 divine orbs. Gloves like this. Anyway, right now, so one of the ways how we can like fix this stuff, we can go with Essence of Hysteria. Essence of Hysteria is great. It will remove 1 of the modifiers and basically it will change it. However, if you're planning to actually adding Essence of Hysteria, which is more than 1 divine orb already, you want to craft differently. You want to actually fracture 1 of the mods on top, then you want to fill like bottom part. When you're filling it, you will remove stuff that is rolled badly in prefixes, and that kind of gives you higher chance on rolling good weapons. But since we're doing like cheap crafts today, again, our way to finish any craft is to basically desecrating item and then going to reveal it. Now, what other gloves we got over here? We got critical damage and cold damage to attack gloves. So that's pretty good. And that's again what we can roll on this type of gloves. Well, we can roll attack speed on bottom, bunch of other cool stuff. And if you got gloves with kind of the same mods that you're going for full aggression, again, like best way to do it with homogenizing coronation, basically omen that will give you the same modifier for your regal orb, and we will try to get like some cool damage. And we got cold resistance, so we'll roll cold, but it's tier 1 cold resistance, not bad. That was cheap. Going for homogenizing sinistral greater exaltation omens, going with a greater exalted orb, and hoping for damage to attacks. And accuracy rating, of course, it's always accuracy rating. For this craft, we're going to make insanely powerful damaging gloves, and leeching physical damage as mana is something that I want. So we will take gloves with 2 mods that we wish. Again, I'm showing you how to make crafts for your build. These gloves will be like perfect for my build. It won't be extremely cheap, but basically that's what we will do. I will try to add critical damage bonus to these gloves by using Essence of Hysteria. However, first of all, we need to fill another suffix. It will be pretty basic fire resistance, as always, like resistance will work. Now, here's the tricky part. Tricky part. We need to decide, do we want to keep increased energy shield? So increased energy shield with our current techs, adding defenses modifier. While on the bottom we will have elemental, fire, resistance, mana, physical attack. Elemental resistance can't roll in prefixes, but elemental can roll, fire can roll, physical and attack can roll. To make these gloves extremely OP, I will actually sacrifice this increased energy shield, and I will use Essence of Hysteria that will add critical damage bonus to gloves. However, again, it costs a little bit, but at least you will understand how this tech works. And there's actually two types of techs that can be used like this. Let me add fire resistance over here also. So this is kind of similar gloves with resistance and attack modifier, which is attack speed right now. And we can use Hysteria on both of them. But again, situation may be different. There's two situations. One of which is you actually want to keep top mod. For example, you already have damage to attacks on top. Here's the fun part. I can actually buy them for 2 Exalted Orbs. So I will show you this tech right now. So adding fire. And here's the situation. On top part, we want to remove top part, so we don't need it. On bottom part, we actually want to keep this tier 1 lightning damage to attacks. So how we keep it? Well, we need to fracture it. And if you're fracturing modifier, you need to have 4 modifiers at the same time. We don't have 4 modifiers on these gloves yet. And we don't want to slam anything. Therefore, that's the tech. So we need to desecrate modifier, but we need to understand where we're desecrating modifier. We need to desecrate modifier where we will take it from after. And we don't want to use Omen of Light to remove this desecrated modifier, because it costs like few divines. Again, we can do it pretty easily. So we will try to desecrate top part. We will try to desecrate prefix. To do it, we need Omen that will add desecration to prefix, basically, making sure it's prefix. And we add prefix. And this will add secret modifier in prefix. Now we get one of 3 chances to fracture it. So that's the tech basically. We're trying to fracture this like modifier. And if we roll for lightning, it will be perfect. Pow! We rolled perfectly. It's again kind of complex stuff where we're going right now. It's not just slam, slam, slam and you got perfect item. You need to win few rolls. So this was like 33%. If we lose this roll, well, it's different craft. Right now, we can use Essence of Hysteria, and it will remove 1 random modifier to add critical damage bonus to attacks. But here's the problem. We don't want to remove Leech mana, we don't want to remove fire resistance. That's a good modifiers for us. That's where comes Ritual Omens. For example, Dextral and Sinistral Crystallization, and we want to remove prefix. Therefore, we go for Sinistral Crystallization. This counts as perfect or corrupted essence. It's probably corrupted essence. And right now, there's only 1 prefix that can be removed, which is green one, because other one is fractured. So we use this, and our suffix is filled with attack damage is mana, fire resistance, critical damage bonus. That's like super good gloves right now. These gloves already can go for like 25 divines. So we invested like 2 divines in them, maybe 3, but let's invest even more. Right now we get techs for basically attack, elemental and other stuff. There's only 1 bad tech right now, it's mana tech over here. So our chances to roll something bad is extremely low, and all we need is homogenizing omen, double omen, and let's hope we roll something good now. So we rolled maximum mana, as I told you we got 1 bad modifier, and we rolled fire damage to attacks. So mana is not like awful, but there's a chance we can reroll it to something better. The chance called like 10 divine orbs. And that's again why this stuff is like super high-end, and you're definitely not like dropping this stuff on gloves like this. But basically you can use Chaos Orbs. For gloves we need perfect one to roll high damage numbers. You can use Sinistral Erasure, so it will focus top part only, because bottom part is perfect for me. And Omen of Whittling, so it removes lowest tier modifier. Lowest tier right now is mana. So we're lucky we can roll, and I'm rolling just for fun. Again, crafting should be fun. I don't care about currency. You definitely don't try this at home. It's better not to overinvest in gloves like this, but pow, and we get maximum life. It is actually better for me. And this item is kind of bricked right now, because maximum life, probably not rerollable. No, it's rerollable. Let's try it once again. Pow! Mana again. So we just spent like 20 divines in a few seconds, and we back where we began basically. That's why again, never over invest in crafting. if you're going cheaply. Better sell these omens, and for 20 divines, I'm better like you can get loads of pretty good gloves. But that's basically how you can craft them. First part was great, so we crafted pretty good gloves, and that's like techs you can use. For this one, we'll just slam, get increased evasion. Let's find out what we get, and we will go to our final topic for this video. It will be rings. So this one can have a little bit of lightning damage to attacks. I mean, why not? This one will get insanely good lightning resistance roll, probably a little bit of intelligence, and cold and chaos resistance. That's great. Again, I'm dropping this like all on the market, and video will be out in like a day or two after I will record it. I will drop in a pinned comment how much we actually like made in terms of selling stuff over here. Now, rings. Rings are super important. Actually, rings adding like insane amount of damage. You can check, like my tooltip right now says it's 70k. No rings, it's like 50k instantly. So it's almost half of the damage added just from rings, and it's a rarity ring right now. I got a lot more powerful ones. That's why knowing how to craft rings is like big deal, and there's different ways, and you need to know like all techs, because rings again are super different, and there's cool ways how we can craft them. First of all, let me remind you again, most important part is our item level. So if your rings are low item level, well, they bad, they can't roll good stuff. You're looking at least item level 75, so if you're playing tier 15s, yeah, you will get them. But best rings will be item level 82, so they can roll these tier 1 resistances, which is insanely valuable stuff. Just like rings with basic resistances and not perfect rolls can go for like 1 divine easily, so just by collecting a bunch of them, we can drop this like augmentation, transmutation on top and check what's going on. So here we got amulets also. Now, when you're looking for rings, it's actually very hard to find good breach rings. So when you're trying to craft something cheaply, you're actually looking for rings which is not breach rings, like this for example. They will always have this extra fire resistance on top, extra cold resistance on top, and this is just pretty nice extra roll on top that will add to your ring, which is really good. Now, when you're crafting, it's actually super important what type of ring you want to have, and here is like the best example, but it will cost you a lot. So if you're playing meta builds, for example, you're playing like lightning archer, lightning deadeye for example, you will need lightning damage ring. And this ring, while it's super good, it will cost you a lot to produce. So instead I will demonstrate you techniques that we will use on basic rings right now on this sapphire ring. Basically don't slam like 2 perfect transmutations instantly, I mean transmutation and augmentation, slam only 1. And you're looking for rings which will give you kind of the same mod as the ring. So for example, if it's sapphire ring, we're looking for another cold resistance or cold damage or something else. We got evasion rating, that's also good. So we don't have perfect ring over here, but let's find, maybe we'll find like one over here, so I can demonstrate you this technique. Here we go, this one is nice. So the technique we will do will rely on breach splinters. You can get them by playing breach pinnacle boss. You don't even need to kill the boss himself, you just need to defeat guys before him, and then you will get like this stuff. So what's this stuff doing? It's catalysts. And this ice catalysts costs basically nothing. You're getting like 3 of them for 1 exalted orb. But if you're looking to have a ring like me, for example, this like cataclysm ring, you're looking to have attack modifiers on top. And 1 stack of this attack modifiers goes for 56 exalted orbs. You can enchant breach ring up to 40. So actually I wasted like 4 stacks of them almost, like a little bit less. This means we just wasted almost 1 divine on this ring. Not exactly wasted because we got like plus maybe like 5% damage, maybe 6. But what we will do right now is basically wasting these catalysts, because we will use another omen for this tech. It will be Omen of Cataclysing Exaltation. It's super cheap right now. People starting to use it, so we see like a rise in price a little bit, but mostly it's like not very hard to get, at least for now. And it will give you chance to increase chance of corresponding type modifier. Now let me like remove all this crap. So that's how it works. That's our most perfect ring that we can have. Increased cold damage, and that's it. So we don't need any other modifiers on this ring, beside cold damage or cold damage to attacks. It can be fire damage to attacks in your case, because Cataclysing Exaltation works on Exalted Orb. Therefore, item need to be a rare, and we can create rare item by using rare essence, this like greater essence. So we will add fire resistance. Oh, no. we'll add cold resistance, therefore we'll get cold modifiers over here. You see? Cold modifiers. Now we drop in tool catalysts, and we're basically adding all of them, so we get like 20% chance to have the same type modifier. Definitely getting greater exaltation because it's cheap, and that's basically a combination. For this combination, I'm not dropping perfect exalt, of course. We're dropping a greater exalt right now, and what will happen, it will eat all cold modifiers, and we will increase chance to roll cold modifiers on top. Now, let's take a look at rings. We got cold damage to attacks, we got increased cold damage, we got all elemental resistances, we got cold resistance. We already have cold resistance and increased cold damage, therefore we got insanely high chance right now to roll cold damage to attacks and all elemental resistances. How? We rolled cold damage to attacks, but evasion rating actually missed. This tells us kinda two things. So one of them is this omen definitely works, but there's a chance it may miss if you're using it with like double omen. So the super safe scenario is to actually drop all these tool catalysts or other catalysts on top, guarantee some sort of modifier, and then use one perfect exalted after perfect exalted and so on. So now you get a ring with cold damage to attacks, but it get cold resistance at the same time. What to do? Well, in this situation, we're going for homogenizing coronation, because we can't add extra cold resistance on top, so we are forced to somehow kinda guarantee good roll. Another way is to actually drop another resistance. It's totally fine. So we can try this. Again, this perfect Regal Orb will probably roll a resistance also. So we got lightning resistance, cold damage to attacks, which is not bad at all. I injected cold modifiers. We will use Cataclysm and pow. We added fire resistance. So as you can see, it's not guaranteed. That's why it's not like super profitable right now. It's still random, but we got triple resistance. Now it can be homogenizing omen on top, and we can roll something good. Again, tier 5 resistances is not like perfect ring. You can easily buy something like this right now on the market, so it was just to show you tech that we can use. And it's pretty cheap tech, and again, you will have like good results. Now, what to do with breach rings, which is like the best rings you can get. Most of the time they will be dropped right now in current patch as rings with 4 or even 5 modifiers, and while some of them are good, some of them are trash and unusable most of the time. Since again, there's loads of modifiers that can roll on rings, and they are not for every class. But where Recombinator comes to our help. Recombinator will use currency from Expedition, and you can combine rings into one single ring. It will be rare. So for this style, again, for this tactic, you will use Recombinator and you will try to succeed on these rolls. It actually will increase your chances to success with lower tier rolls a lot. So right now we get tier 1 resistance, tier 2 damage. But if I change a ring and get tier 2 resistance, we already got 28% chance to succeed. So you can actually try loads of time almost for free. Increased cold damage, tier 1 for one Regal Orb, it's super easy. Again, it's not popular, so if you're playing some cold damage builds, it's super easy to do. Just search for rings with tier 1 cold damage, take them, and you got it. Or go for tier 2, again, it will give you like high chance to succeed. Now, this chance can be improved. Right now we get 28% chance, so we just need like 10 exalted orbs to get like 3 pairs of them, and one of them will be done. But there's Omen of Recombination that will make your attempt lucky. Basically it will roll 2 times and the better result will be used. So based on mass, it gives you 50% more chance to succeed. Not plus 50%, but 50% of 28 in this example. So it will be like 42% chance to succeed on this ring. Let's try it. It will fail. Pow. No, we are lucky. We are lucky today, so we're taking this ring. So on breach ring, we will have 40% chance to roll cold modifiers. Let's see. We got cold resistance right now. Can we add cold damage to attacks and cold damage on this ring, for example? How? We added all elemental resistances, which is also cold, and some like weird stuff on top. This means, again, this craft will cost you a little bit, like a little bit more than you probably expected, because every time you drop Exalted Orb on top, you actually need to use only one Exalted Orb, so we eat these modifiers one by one, and we will roll something cold. How? We rolled mana. And that's why rings like mine cost around 200 divine orbs on the market, because it's so hard and so tedious to craft, but that's basically a tech how you can approach it. But again, it can be done super cheaply, since it's pretty easy to find basic rings on the market. So right now I'm looking for rings with cold damage, cold resistance, with good item level. So this is item level 81. One exalted orb. You can use previous tech to try and infest it with extra cold stuff, but it's a lot easier just to add one more resistance by using essence, so it costs nothing. Then we're using suffix modifier and desecration for jewelry. So this is bone. This will add suffix right now. Therefore we got two prefixes, and two prefixes will be filled with our favorite combo: greater exaltation, homogenizing exaltation, and we will add it. So we will hope just for some extra damage. Pow! We got physical damage to attacks, we get increased lightning damage, so not perfect. Again, infecting it with cold, adding more omens will increase chances, it's not guaranteed. Rings are hard, but rings can be altered with omens of Leech, Sovereign and Black-Blooded, so we can basically force to have third resistance and chaos resistance. And these rings are already in divine range. For belt you don't even need to worry about, probably using some unique belts, but if you don't, just find belt with good resistance, slap essence, and just slam bunch of exalts on top. It will be good. But you get a question how to craft weapons right now pretty cheaply. Well, watch video on the screen right now.